Do you ever wear glasses?
No, I don't wear glasses.
Dude, it's like such a glass problem. Like your skin gets so fucked up. I had like a huge cut, so I had to like clean it really fast. Just from the bridge on my nose, like right here.
Oh shit.
So weird because like what happens is like it gets super dry if you wear your glasses all the time.
No, I guess I think I've had that with shades before, but I feel you, man. Dude, you're looking fresh. I'm like,
Thank you. And I had to get the. Should I bust the drum key out? I gotta bust this out for the for the shirt.
hell
So,
yeah.
so wait, what kind of questions are we gonna be talking about for the podcast?
Dude, it's super casual, just having a conversation. Want to know like more about your life, like how you got into drumming. And but dude, first I wanted to say like your birthday concert was fucking awesome. Like that was my first like concert since COVID started, and it was like so fun, man. I just like loved it. It was like a great place to have
Really
it.
glad, thank you, dude. I'm glad it worked out. I'm really glad it worked out.
Yeah, man. I'm like thinking about back to the days when you were at like in the Mission Bay Jazz Band, like how it's going now, and you just got like a bunch of fans out there. It's crazy,
I know
man.
it's like people think success. Well, yeah, let's just start the podcast since we're already off to a
Yeah.
good topic,
Yeah, man. So how like when did you even get started drumming? How old were you?
Well, I was 6 years old when I was like, well, music has been around my life in my entire life.
Yeah.
So my dad played the drums. My mom was a painter and a vocalist, and she played piano. My brother played drums. My sister sings in a gospel choir.
Okay.
So music has been around my life. Like
Yeah, it's in your DNA
it's
for
in
sure.
my DNA. Like I come from a family of drummers. My dad was actually he played for Chuck Berry a few times,
Oh, cool.
but yeah, I was really never taught. I just kind of watched. It's kind of like learning any language. You just to really be absorbed by it, you got to just watch and take it all in. It's kind of like how we learned how to speak. We just mocked our parents. So I just watched my dad growing up, but yeah, I was like 6 years old when I started really playing, but I took it serious at like 12.
Gotcha. Would you ever just try to like hop on his drum set when you were 6 and then just try to play something where your dad helped you out?
We grew up pretty poor, so in that area of my life, like when I was 6, like my dad only had his drum set like he had it like in the office. So my dad used to clean this place called Urgent Care right on Garnett, and he
Okay.
had an office upstairs, and like we would live in and out of the van and the office, and my dad set up the drums in the office, so I'd play sometimes, but mainly my brother would play up in that office.
Wow. So you lived in a van at one point in your life?
Yeah, well, I my I everyone has a sad story,
Right.
but it's all about how you use it. Like for
Yeah.
me, like my mom died when I was 6 years old.
So
Um, I haven't had like the best, like financially growing up. I was always poor.
yeah.
Poor with my friends. My sister like ran away after my mom died,
Wow.
and then it was just me and my dad for a while. And yeah, so it's been a progression. I was born and raised in San Diego, right in Campland. You know Campland,
Yeah,
right?
I know Kaplan. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the actual last like affordable housing
Wow.
in Pacific Beach, if you really think about it, because PB is primarily a tourist spot and it's really expensive. The apartments are crazy, but Campland provided like now they have like it's kind of messed up. You have to have like a 90 or a 2005 RV or trailer or newer
No
to live
way.
there. Yeah, but
Wow.
there were a lot of locals back then. Like a
Okay.
lot of locals could afford to live there just by living out of their trailer or tent. So we, I was born into the family, and we were living in a tent. Then we got a bigger trailer. Then we got a small trailer. Then we got a bigger trailer. Then we got a bigger trailer than that. And eventually, my dad just kept working and working, after my mom died. And,
Yeah.
we found our way. I've lived in every part of PB, dude. Every part of PB. It's kind of crazy.
That is crazy, man. Oh my God. So Where are you living now? Are you in PB now?
Yeah, I can't leave, man. I don't know, especially with COVID-19. I'm like, where
Yeah.
else do I go? But yeah, I'm in PB still, but where like the new Sonic is? So
Yeah.
like Rose Creek type area. That's where I'm at right now.
Nice. I'm actually super excited because I'm going to be moving down in PB in about 2 weeks now.
Oh, what? That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm so hyped. I've been wanting to live there for a while, but I definitely lived in a lot of different areas growing up. Even lived internationally for a bit, but yeah. So now that you're living in PB by yourself, is your main like source of income just playing through is through music now?
Well, it's kind of been, you know, in the macro, it's like thinking long term.
Okay.
So I wish I could live just off music, but
Yeah.
the way I operate, I'm always putting my money back into my craft. And I wear many hats. I'm not just a drummer now. I
Yeah.
was just a drummer growing up for the longest time, but now I can play piano and I do a lot of producing. And now I just want to be seen as an actual musician, like that can do lots of things. I'm curating shows, but to be honest, they don't really pay my bills, especially right now during COVID when
Yeah.
all live performance stops.
Yeah,
You know,
I was about to say, like, how did that affect you playing in bands and just like concerts in general? That must have been
it's
crazy.
it's been rough.
Yeah.
Not to get too personal because like it's still ongoing.
Right.
But one of the bands that I played with like feels like I'm getting kicked out now because it just like because we haven't played together in the longest time, it feels like I'm not a part of it anymore and I haven't seen them. And so it's been good and bad. Some doors are closing, some doors are opening. I choose to look at it as an opportunity to do something new and exciting. And you can, yeah, it sucks, but the people that think it sucks are probably not going to do anything about it. But me, like, I went out, like, for example, I at the start of COVID, when remember the long lines at like uh Trader Joe's and like all the grocery
Yeah.
stores?
Yeah.
So my idea, it was so funny because I stayed up all night watching Walking Dead the night before, and I was just like, man, I got to think of something, and I started writing some things down, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play in a bed of a truck to music, to a speaker, to a Bluetooth speaker with my mask on, and we'll be socially distanced. And I went out and I played for the people in the Trader Joe's parking lot.
Yeah, I think I remember because you were on
Yeah.
the news. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got put on the news for that. So that was I wanted to just share a little bit of positivity and encouragement and just enter because those lines were so ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just to go in and buy a few things.
Yeah. And find out there's no
Like
toilet paper
people are
left.
these people like can't breathe. They have a mask on. Like they're just like they feel awkward. They're 6 feet away from people, and they just have to sit in this line. So I was just like, well, might as well go entertain them.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that was awesome. That was an awesome idea. And I always love about you is that you always like find the best in the situation. Like I think that's totally you, man. Just like thinking positive and just finding like new ways to do something.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so. I mean, limitation breeds creativity. You
Yeah.
know, at the end of the day, that's right there. That's it. If
Right.
you look for the bad, you're gonna only see the bad. But if you look for the positive, your whole world can. And you're open to new opportunities because of your starts with gratitude.
Yeah.
Being grateful. And I'm still working on it, but it's helped me back then.
Yeah. I'm sure we all are, man. Yeah, man. So like after I guess the truck concert and going to now, it looks like you're like being able to do like outdoor concerts at least.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of funny. Not to get too political, but like people are kind of like looking at us the bad guys. Some of them, like we've reached. That's how I know we were onto something cool, is because we're on like 10 group chats right now. Like people saying how we're gathering large crowds, and like even though the farmers market is doing the same thing and having people come in there eating food, touching, have actually more of a chance of spreading and getting COVID. And we're just out there just trying to make some money on the street, and people are kind of giving us a lot of crap for it. But also we're receiving a way more love, way more love than the bad for sure. But it's just kind of funny to see.
Yeah, I think it's been super like hypocritical because like airlines are even open. I'm like flying for work and everyone like takes their mask off at one point to like have your snack, and that's allowed. But like doing things that are actually like helping people's mental health, like music or whatever, something that's like frowned down upon.
And I don't have all the answers. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor.
Yeah.
It just seems hypocritical, like you're saying, So I'm like, well, someone else is going to go play on the street. Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
And busking it's been really beneficial. People are really wanting live music right now. It's like the supply and demand. So we're getting a great response from especially the Ocean Beach community.
Yeah.
The Ocean community really has our back as a band. And this new band actually formed out of COVID. It's called Clockwork Music.
Okay.
So that's who you saw me. Well, I was playing like 7 bands.
Yeah, there were so many people at your concert. I didn't know.
The last band that I played with, Hadley, amazing vocalist, Dylan on bass, and Cole Russos on guitar. Dylan hit me up. We had our last show in March. I was playing with my homie Jalad, and I actually met Dylan playing bass that day, because that's how most gigs happen sometimes. Like you get called for a gig and you just kind of show up and learn the music. 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. And we met, me and Dylan met, and then the lockdown happened. And then 2 months later, Dylan asked me if I wanted to go play on the street for people. And I was like, yeah, sure. I played with Dylan once before, and that's when I met Cole. So that band literally formed out of COVID.
That's crazy that you could just meet people like that and form like a connection instantly. I feel like that's something that just happens in like the musical community more easily than others.
Yeah. I mean, the San Diego music community, I think, is very, very inclusive.
Yeah.
I can't speak for LA, but I know it's very saturated and it feels very artist based. Gotcha. Like one artist, it's not really bands, it's just like individuals that are trying to make it. San Diego, at least for me, I don't know. I can't speak for LA, but for San Diego, it feels like we're all in it together.
Yeah.
Everyone's sharing musicians, everyone's sharing equipment, everyone's sharing venues and ideas and recording studios and bartering and trading and trying to get connections. And it's just a really wonderful community. Like there's so much talent in this city. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome. So like, are you basically in a bunch of different bands now? Like, how many would you say you're in?
And a lot of people give me crap for it. And for example, I had a friend of mine said I wasn't devoted to rock music, and which really made me question, like, what are you talking about? Like, music comes from other music, so like with me playing with a bunch of bands, it's like usually I'm only playing with the bands that are just wanting to work, because I'm so driven. Right. And if you're not having it for a week, I can't get you to come on and try to, if I have to do all the work with trying to encourage and motivate you, it just really takes away from my drive. And I need people who are hungry. So, and some of the bands aren't even working right now. They don't rehearse all the time. They don't record all the time. And I'm looking to do something every day. So I've met some pretty passionate musicians, but like, I'm still looking for that like person that's just on fire. Cause like, this is my whole world. This is my life. Like, I want to try it now while I'm young and have the chance of making it instead of like living my entire life and having regret. Cause I have big goals and dreams,
Yeah, man, I can clearly tell. So you're in a few groups, and then isn't your main one called like the Frets?
Yeah. The Frets I've been playing with, it's been it's been a good time. It's been a little rough patch during COVID. Like I said, some things have happened, but yeah, those are my guys. I love them with all my heart. And yeah, we recently, oh wait, yeah, that was during COVID as well. We won Song of the Year.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
You know
awesome.
what's funny? Cody, my guitar player, he actually gave me this little, I'll have to go grab it. Give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right. I got it. Cody actually gave me this for my birthday. This is it's the waveform. It's the
Oh, cool. Of the
of
track.
the song. And it
That's
says the Frets Naive Adolescence 2020 San Diego Music Awards. Can you see it?
dude, that is so cool. That's like
Yeah.
that's a good idea for a gift, like especially.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this is the actual award. I think this might be the physical award. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Or unless Cody made it. I have no idea.
Super cool.
But yeah, that's so funny.
Yes. So the frets are I don't know if you have like a main group, but I know like in terms of maybe popularity, the frets my vibe is that the frets are like the more popular group that you're in.
Yeah, I would say so. We haven't really done much right now, but yeah, we did a few live streams during COVID, and we just put out a new record called Daisy.
Heard that one. Yeah, it's sweet.
Cody just edited the video for that. It looks great. It's amazing. Yeah, but yeah, the frets is for sure the most popular. We have great numbers on Spotify that are getting up there, and yeah, I've been working with them for a long time, so that's been kind of like my baby, you know.
Yeah.
Trying where I haven't got paid in that band. No one's got paid. It all goes back into the band, you know. That's like investment. And yeah, it's been a wonderful ride, a long learning experience, and we've thrown some crazy shows over the years. But yeah, I guess that would be to answer your question. Like, that's probably the biggest band for sure.
And what's it like being like in a band like that, or just in a band in general? Because I have a friend I interviewed, and he was just talking about sometimes it can be so hard to like deal with everyone's personalities, or just meeting up together and like.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with the Freds. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie on a podcast. Like, we've had like a rough patch, like me and a couple of the guys, just because we've been together so long. And if sometimes like not everyone's ideas are shared correctly, and it doesn't feel like someone has a say, or someone has like, it feels like one person's being bullied, or this person writes this song, but this person can't wrote all these songs and we're not working on to record. You know, there's all these little minute, it's like essentially, I mean, my band, the Frets, is a 4-piece. So it's like a 4-way marriage, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard organizing practice times and record times. And there's so much more that goes into this industry than being a good musician. It's marketing, it's promotion, it's networking, it's contact, it's supplying the equipment, it's loading, it's unloading, it's there's so many things. You're your own manager, your own organizer, you know, you're your own teacher, especially when it comes to like recording music now. It's not like we can afford to go to a big studio. Usually it's out of these home studios. So it's like Cody does a great job of giving like a bass mix when we're working on a Frets record. That way he can send it to a mixer in LA. But yeah, there's so many elements that come to with being in a band. And then you add 4 people on top of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's a lot. That's why I feel like we've seen not the death of the band, but the kind of evolution of a band, you know?
Yeah. I think you can only like grow and learn from like what you're like the conflicts you have.
Yeah.
working something out?
It feels like nowadays it's like people like to latch on to one artist, like Anderson .Paak. It's like, but no one knows that like Anderson .Paak's band is called the Free Nationals. You know, like I don't think I can name a member of the Free Nationals. Each member, I don't think I can name them. Yeah, not one except Anderson .Paak. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, and then I guess what would you like consider your role in the band, like besides being a drummer? Like, would you say each personality in like the Frets has their own kind of role?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, there's so many roles as a drummer.
Yeah.
Like, are you talking about musically or just like industry wise? Like,
Why don't we go into musically? Because I'm definitely curious about that.
well, as a drummer, so to put it plainly to viewers that don't play or don't know much about music, a drummer is the timekeeper. He's kind of like, okay, say if you're going on a road trip, right?
Yeah.
The whole band's in the car. The drummer is the driver's seat.
Gotcha.
Because if you play loud, your band plays loud. If you play quiet, they play quiet. If you play fast, they have to play fast. You know, if you accent a certain rhythm or pattern, it's best that they accent it as well. It's kind of like you're steering the ship of the song. So so you know what a metronome is, right?
Yeah.
So
tick tock.
This is my job, is to just keep time and keep the groove, the pulse, the feel and the dance of the song. You know, I'm kind of directing the ship dynamically, like how loud it's going to be, and then maybe intensity wise or ambiance with like cymbal work. You know, it's just kind of I'm rhythmically like guiding the song. You know, I guess if talking about a single song. So my role is essentially to keep time.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of like a conductor in an orchestra. Would that be kind of like accurate?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility as a drummer, because a drummer can make or break a band.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to not to like put myself on a high horse, but it's true. Like,
yeah,
if there's shitty bands with great drummers, but there's no great bands with shitty drummers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, that totally makes sense. Just kind of like the backbone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's cool. And when you're like playing the songs, do you usually come up with like how you're gonna drum on the spot, or do you like prepare it and you're like, I'm gonna do it this way, or like how much improvisation is there when you're?
Well, with the Frets, you know, that's where me and Cody kind of bashed a little heads.
Okay.
You know, because I'm used to playing, like, I've been playing my entire life. So I know the different levels of musicality I can bring or not bring. So say if I was playing for Ariana Grande and I was getting paid for that gig, I would just keep to the form, keep strict 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Because you got to let some of the other instruments shine at certain moments. So for me, I grew up playing jazz, which involves a lot of different improvisational techniques and skills. Yeah. So like call and response between the horn player and the bass player, you know, you kind of feed off that energy mid song. That's what makes it new every time, is you're kind of coming up with art on the spot. It's really beautiful. You know, that's why I really love jazz music. Because you kind of just connecting the entire time and you're having a little conversation.
Yeah.
But so for the Frets, you know, I guess it's a little bit more, I wouldn't say boring. It's not boring. It's just simple. You know, it's a different kind of vibe and energy, you know, because that consistency is like what drives that type of music. You know, it can't be changing all the time. It has to keep that real steady pulse because of I guess the heaviness of the music and just like the culture of the sound of rock, you know.
No, yeah, that makes
Got
sense.
a little bit more aggressive and simple approach, more
Unless you
memorable.
get a solo, right?
Hey, I can play some simple solos, man. People love toms, lots of toms, and playing really fast.
Gotcha.
Doesn't
Dude,
have to be complicated, just
okay.
fast, a lot of toms.
Gotcha. Dude, I'm sure like just playing all the time, like, because it sounds like you're pretty much playing all day. You got to be in pretty good shape or at least have like some massive forearms and shoulders.
Oh man, dude, I kind of scared myself earlier because I go to the gym to play music. A
Yeah.
lot of people ask, I go to the gym like every day,
Wow.
and because I'm constantly prone to injury because I've been playing my entire life. So,
Yeah.
you know, like being goofy as a skateboarder, you stand on your right foot and you
Right.
push left.
Yeah.
I grew up surfing and skating and playing the drums. So my right glute is taking all the load
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
my left half is taking all the load on that side.
Yeah.
So my hips right now, they're like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I've been actually working, you know, Max Sobrano.
Yeah.
Max has been helping me like like fix my hips and like rotate them so I can like actually, because my right quad and glute is stronger than my left, and it's really off balance.
Yeah.
It's because of playing all my life. That
I can
repetitive,
imagine just beating, yeah, yeah,
that
with
repetitive
all,
motion all the time is. That's why I've changed up my technique like so many different times. But it doesn't matter what I do at a certain point. It's just a repetitive motion injury, you know.
right.
Like I even have a cyst from playing. I don't know if you can see it here.
No.
My wrist. It's a ganglion cyst, and it's just oil buildup from
Oh
this.
wow.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy. The thing that you love hurts you in a little way.
That's crazy. So like, do you just come up with workouts to try to like even out your muscles like on your each side of your body?
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy because when I'm finished, I push myself hard in the gym. So like, because a lot of times you're loading and unloading, you know what I mean, and setting up and breaking down.
Right.
So you don't have enough energy to do that, and then you get onto a gig and have to play it for like hours.
Yeah.
You know, especially if the music is physically demanding. I don't think people really understand what I mean by that. It's like when you're utilizing your larger muscle groups. Like when I'm lifting my whole arm,
Yeah.
like that's a large muscle group. It's my front delt, you know, it's utilizing my tricep, bicep, like my whole arm. But
Yeah.
my forearm, not as bad. My wrist, I can move a lot faster. And then my fingers is where I can do this all day, you know.
Right.
Heavier music, you're using larger muscle groups all the time because you have to reach a certain dynamic level. You have to, you know, a certain level of loudness.
Yeah.
You can't play like rock with a really soft backbeat and not just thundering, you know, cymbals. You know, it's not going to have the same energy if you're playing it super quiet.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah,
know,
that makes sense. So when you work out now, are you kind of what's your like goal from the workout?
well, I want to like look good on stage. I'm not going to lie. Like I want to look good.
Dude, you've
Um,
like you've definitely like bulked up and like toned too since since high school, man. Like I can tell the difference for sure.
I've been working at it. Like it is functional. Like I'm not going to pretend like it's more of like I guess placebo thing because like it is functional. Like most of the workouts that I'm doing, like
Right.
I do a lot of lightweight, lots of reps because it activates the hypertrophy in my muscles. So when I'm playing long periods of time,
Yeah.
they don't get tired because I did that work in the gym. But you know, I kind of balance it depending on how I'm feeling. You know, because essentially I just want to be, you know how like this is my goal is, you know, like how Dwayne The Rock Johnson is kind of like to movies.
Yeah.
I want to be like that for music, you know? I want to be like, in this industry, you kind of have to be, you have to stand out. You know, there's so many people that just get swept under the rug, even though they're phenomenal players.
Right. Right.
And they just don't have an image, or they don't have like a personality, or they don't put themselves out there, and they just kind of like wear what everyone else wears, and they just kind of sound and talk like everyone else, but they don't have their own voice. So I guess in this journey that I'm on, again, I don't know all the answers, but like working out, I feel like is a part of that. It's my brand.
Yeah.
And it's more functional than anything. Because like there's some days I play 7, or like last Wednesday I played like 12 hours.
That's crazy, dude.
Like 2 breaks, dude. And that was on the street. So we've been out there, dude. We've been hustling, dude. It's no joke busking on the street. It's crazy humbling. So again, I'm rambling here. But
That's
yes,
dude,
working out.
How do you like keep up the energy to even do that? You know, like, or like everything you're doing, man, because you like work a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have this vision in my head. One, it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me happy because I don't have time to gossip or talk about drama or like talk about stupid things like that don't matter. I'm just too busy for it. I don't know. I see like my goal, and I have like a bigger picture. I've been thinking about why I do these things. And well, one, I love music and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But 2, I want to just show people that there is a way, there is a way to like push your limits and be the best version of yourself that you can be. And like, I want to be a good friend mainly. I want to be a good person, and I want to be the best drummer in the world one day. And I want to balance myself. I just feel like that's what motivates me. It's like, there's so many things to learn,
And like, now that you're coming up, do you think you got any time for girls in your life?
I mean, I haven't really met anyone that would, I would like to, I always joke with my friends. I was like, can you imagine being like Kanye West or Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah.
Or like, can you imagine having all this clout and then you haven't met your significant other yet? You know how annoying that would be? Like, because everyone would just want to use you for your money, fame, and
right.
Like, I think about that. I was just like, well, because I have big goals. I know I'm going to be big one day. Like, I'm just going to keep working. If it takes me 20 years, so be it. But when I do get there, I guess it would be nice to, I want to have someone to share it with,
Right. And someone who like supports you for who you are, not because your clout, your finance. Yeah.
But I just think that's so fun. I don't think that's an issue I have to worry about.
Not yet.
I'm just making that, but I'm just saying it's just really interesting to me, like those big artists, like how do they find genuine connections and friendships? That's why I'm so thankful, because I thought I'd be touring the world. I'm not gonna lie, like I thought I'd be touring the world by this age, when I was 18. It just, life doesn't always work out like that. And I'm so glad it didn't, because can you imagine having that much fame at such a young age?
And I mean, it's ruined so many like teen celebrities,
Yeah. Like, I'm grateful, dude. Like, everyone gets so mad at Justin Bieber. I'm like, dude, he was a kid.
Yeah, he was like 13, even 12.
He was 13. I love and respect that dude, like, so much. He had to go through a lot, dude. Everyone wants to point fingers and talk about what he did wrong. It's like,
he's just a person.
Me, dude? He was a kid.
Yeah.
With you, if I had that much money and influence and girls, how much of an asshole I would be? Probably worse. You know what I mean?
I don't
Like,
believe that, man. You're the
well,
nicest.
not that, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. Like, I have compassion. I have empathy. You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know where I was going with this, but yeah. If you're out there, any women that want,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm surprised because I see all these girls at your concert. I'm like, John's gotta have a few of them up his sleeve or something.
uh, no ace of spades in my sleeve. No.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's so funny. I call it the post-show blues. It's hilarious, dude. It's you practice all this time in a little dark room, right?
Yeah.
You get this level of good, you practice, you get all prepared. All right, and then you go out, you load all your crap, and it takes forever. You set up, you play music, and then you're a god, right? You're a god for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh my God. Like, some people, it's been crazy. That's
Yeah.
why I had to hire security at my last show. People get freaking crazy. And all of it ends, everyone leaves, and it's just you packing up your shit. It's the most, it's so interesting, dude.
That's
And no
incredible,
one's around.
man.
It's just you by yourself.
Wow. Yeah, that's
It's
a
a,
trip
it's
for
a
sure.
lot of highs and a lot of lows. That level of dopamine like exchanges, that's why a lot of musicians switch to substance abuse, because they don't know how to turn it off and on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Like I never.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's because it's the extreme levels of dopamine and and extreme levels of taking all that away. You know, it's, you get
Yeah.
these highs, you get these low lows, especially as a musician. It's so weird.
Yeah, and how do you try to deal with that? Because I'm sure it's like not easy.
Well, at the end of the day, I use my music to encourage people, you know, so that's why I guess what I'm trying to do is open a dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm doing so I feel better,
Right.
and that my followers, and I guess if I have fans at this point, like my fans, I just try to be as transparent as possible and talk about these emotions, because I know, even though these other people aren't musicians, they may feel like the boss and the big man at their job, and they come home and get yelled at by their wife. So like, this situation is like, can be seen in so many different areas. You don't have to be a musician to go through this, but
Right.
so I think it's internal happiness, you know,
Yeah.
knowing my
Great.
value
Yeah.
go from it. My value doesn't come from follows or likes. My value comes from how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And it took a really long time to understand that, but like, I'm so happy.
That's great, man.
So happy, and because I realized that, and I don't put any energy in any, I don't expect anything of anyone. I know that kind of sounds weird, but I know they're human, and I know it's my responsibility to be happy, you know.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
can't call you tomorrow, Simon, and be like, hey, make me happy. It's like, that's not how it works.
right, right. But dude,
So
like it's good, it's great because you're like happiness rubs off. Like happiness just like rubs off on people. Positivity, like it's great, man. And
yeah.
yeah, so before like I end this podcast, the show's called 30 and Under. So I ask like every person this question, like what your goal is before you turn 30. What do you want to achieve?
Oh, that's a good question. Before I turn 30,
Yeah.
oh man, before I turn 30. Well, I want to be, I don't know, can I answer this? So there's a
Dude, it
lot.
could be anything, anything.
Okay.
You can rant if
Uh,
you want.
I want to have my own studio, um, my own house. Well, my own place to live in Pacific Beach, where I can record and write music
Yeah.
and be a full-time musician. playing and performing music. Also, I want to score a film by age 30.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Because that's what I want to do after I'm old and I can't tour the world anymore or do anything. I want to just film score movies and documentaries.
Yeah.
It's my like that's my last goal. Like, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's a great goal. I hope you achieve it, man, because I know you work so hard for everything. So that's great. And before we end, just if you want to have any shout outs to anyone out there or anything you're doing.
All right. Okay. Because I'm a band whore. Shout out the Frets. Shout out Getaway 95. Shout out Widow Maid. Shout out Frankie Doppler. Shout out Clockwork. Shout out Gelad and the Moonshine Soul Band. Shout out Gypsy Sally. Shout out Modern History. Shout out Aviator Stash. Shout out my mom who's in heaven. I do this all for you. And that's all I got.
That's great, man. We'll really appreciate having you on. And take it easy. Hopefully,
I felt like I was rambling. It was my first podcast. But,
nah, dude. No, this was great. And like hopefully we could do this again.
Yeah, sounds good, dude.
All right, later, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.